Welcome to a Superconscious Leader. I'm your host, Dr. Adil Dalal, and today we have a very special episode for you. We are going to be going into some very powerful moments from shows of the past. We will start this journey with Jose Angel Pereira, who will share some timeless stories about his captivity as a political prisoner and how he overcame that through resilience and showed true leadership. We will then go on to our discussion with Ryan Herpin, who, as a leader, has shown us a new path for rising above burnout, as well as overcoming the imposter syndrome, which a lot of leaders are facing today. Then we move on to a very special guest, Erica Butler, who really is a woman of great character and a great integrity. And she shows how to lead the teams and inspire them through integrity and ethics. So we wrap up the show with, again, Jose Angel Pereira, where he shares some amazing discussions on overcoming some of the challenges he has faced in life and how it has truly transformed him as a leader. So please join us in today's episode as we continue to prepare some great stories, great lessons, and a path forward for great leaders of tomorrow. Welcome to a Superconscious Leader. I am Dr. Adil Dalal. You're watching Now Media Television. Welcome to a Superconscious Leader. Your journey to the pinnacle of leadership starts here and starts now. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Jose Angel Pereira, a seasoned executive and a motivational speaker whose resilience is unmatched. Jose endured 1,775 days as an international hostage and now guides leaders worldwide in a purpose-driven leadership. Welcome to the show, Mr. Jose.
Thank you for having me. Wow, what an introduction. Thank you for having me.
So today, we can understand that many audience members face challenges that feel insurmountable, and it often seems like those hardships will define their lives forever. So, Mr. Jose, can you share your story about being held hostage for 1,775 days? That's about, 5 years in Venezuela. And what was the experience like, please?
Well, the people that doesn't know me, I did a long career in the oil and gas. I began my career in 1985 back in Venezuela in the oil and gas. And in the continuing of the career path, I was transferred here to the U.S. in 2012, and it became part of the part of CITGO Petroleum, that is one of the U.S. based company of the Venezuelan country. And I continued my career and finally became the CEO of the company in 2017. That time there was having a lot of geopolitical things between Venezuela and the U.S., like it's happening today.
Right.
Exactly the same thing. Exactly the same thing. And, they were imposing sanctions and all this stuff. And I was working with CITGO Petroleum, that even that I was a U.S.-based company, belongs to the Venezuelan government. And I didn't feel comfortable. So I was entitled to get retired, and I asked for my retirement after 35 years being in the company. And I was in my retirement mode, November 2017, ready to get retired. Oh. I received a last-minute call. I was with my wife in a movie.
Okay.
Expecting my kids to come to the Thanksgiving.
Right.
And I received a call to go to Caracas, Venezuela, to make a last-minute presentation. I didn't see nothing wrong because people always ask me, why you went to that trip? Well, that was part of my job.
Sure,
yeah,
absolutely.
I went to go to that presentation. I did a presentation. The funny thing is that I did a presentation. It was a crowd of almost 1,000 people. I was presenting the revamping of a refinery we were doing in Aruba. Standing ovation, everything was going smoothly. I was thinking, wow, what a way to finalize my career, And 5 minutes after, I saw these guards come into the room
My God.
with mask. If you see my book, you can see the faces. They use mask, and well, they accuse us to be American spy. They accuse of committed treason to the country and have made embezzlement and a lot of false charges, because we became the victims of the geopolitical thing that was going in that moment, and we became the political pawns, and the negotiation to get us back took 5 years.
Yeah.
So that was how that story changed dramatically. Being in the pinnacle of my career, and minutes after, I was a hostage.
Wow, that is. I can't even imagine the feeling of that, Jose. That is really tough for you, and I cannot imagine your wife and your family.
And we were six. We were six.
Right, CITGO Six. That's what you call.
That's why we became the CITGO Six, because the press they struggled to mention the 6 names.
Yes,
and they decided to put us like a brand. We became the CITGO
Six.
Yes.
Wow, that is so cool. Wow. I don't think anyone else has these kind of stories, right? So I'm so glad that you're discussing this, because there is, in a hostage situation, a human being changes. Your mindset, everything changes. And for 5 years is a very long time. So let's go a little deeper into that. So during your time in captivity, what mindset or practices helped you survive mentally, emotionally, and spiritually?
Well, that's a great question, because I'm going to say that this has like an evolution process, okay?
Right.
Let's say that in the beginning, and this is something that I talk today.
Correct.
When you go to a situation like this, the first thing that you will experiment is the denial.
Mm-hmm.
This is not happening to me. And this is something that happened to any situation in life. The first thing, because it's very human, you will deny it. This is not happening to me.
Right.
And then comes the acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, wow, this is happening to me. There is a moment between the denial and the acceptance that is key.
Yeah.
Because there is where you will decide if you can move on or not. So there comes that change in your mindset.
Yes.
And this is something that happened to a leader in any situation.
Very true.
In any situation, anybody that's hearing this, if you're in a leader position, you have many times maybe have experimented this.
Yeah.
That is something that changed in your business, or something that dramatically changed. And sometimes you don't know how to handle it.
Correct.
And there's where comes that true leadership. When you decided, okay, this is real, this is happening, let's move on and let's see how we're going to deal with this. So this is the first thing. And then comes another process, that is, you accept it, that is happening, how you decide to face it.
Yes.
It can be in a positive way or can be in a negative way.
Yes.
And there's going to be that key thing when you decide to say, okay, this is happening. In my case, I said, I have a family, I have people waiting outside, I'm going to survive this. There's where that comes the mindset.
Yes.
You decide. And this is something that it can happen in any situation in your life.
Yeah.
In the personal life or in your business.
Perfect.
When you decided to say, okay, this is happening, we're going to go in this direction, and you move on.
You made a choice.
You made a choice. It's a very, very personal choice.
Very true. And I know you're a spiritual person. How much of spirituality came into giving you the confidence in getting through this situation?
This is very important, because I was not a spiritual person. I'm going to say it.
Before you were not?
No, I was not. I come from a Catholic country.
Okay.
Venezuela is very Catholic. Right. I was a typical Catholic guy that went from time to time to church, but I was not a spiritual guy. I was I was very skeptical. I was very ground centered in myself.
Okay.
Sometimes ego, there are a lot of ego in that.
CEO, you get that.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you get it's part of the, this is part of the package of being the CEO.
Exactly. I agree.
But now I'm in this place thinking first, why this happened to me?
Yes.
So you begin to have a lot of anger.
Absolutely.
That's the first reaction.
Yes.
Anger.
Why me?
Why me? Why this happened to me? And it takes a time to understand it. And my first year, I was in a solitary confinement. My friend, you can think a lot during a year, a lot. And you begin to revisit your life.
Yeah.
And you begin to see the things. Why I did this. For example, and this is something I'm going to say very clear here. Sometime when you're scaling the corporate ladder, you begin to abandon your family.
Yeah.
This is very typical.
Yeah.
And my wife, she called me. I never had time for her.
Yes.
I never had time. Hey, I'm busy. I'm in a board. I'm in that. I'm in this. Now I'm here begging for a 1-minute call. So this confront yourself.
I know.
And after 1 year that we were put together, the six, we found something that for me, I think is hands of God. Because we discovered we were not friends. So now we're knowing each other.
Okay.
And we discovered that the six of us has 30 plus year married.
Wow.
And 30 plus year career.
Oh, wow.
So we had a pattern. That's very uncommon. 6 guys choosing randomly with that
kind of background. Yeah.
So we
and they were your vice presidents, right?
And they were my 5 vice presidents.
Wow.
And now we are 6 guys, 31, 32, 37, 35 years married with families there. Oh, that created really a strong bond.
Absolutely.
That created a strong bond. And we begin to read the Bible.
Yeah.
And there's where the spiritual part became, because now you begin to make the fit.
Wonderful. It's probably a way to get you into that right, push you into the choice.
I can tell you, today I see the hands of God all over.
Excellent. How did you endure such an extreme adversity, and how did it shape your understanding of leadership and resilience?
Great question. I always say that true leader is tested when you're pushed from your comfort zone, when the floor is moving, when everything is crumbled, is when you're going to be tested if you're a true leader or not. I'm going to say it's something very honest here. In a normal situation, in a normal life, when everything is steady, anybody can be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are pushed from your comfort zone is where you're going to be really tested if your leadership trails or not.
Sure.
And the resilience for me is not only the word. By the way, let me tell you, I was not familiar with the word resilience.
Right.
I never heard about it. When I came back, I began to hear about resilience. And, that's what I did.
Okay. There you go.
But the resilience is really not only falling and bouncing back. It's understanding what happened and bouncing back better.
Yeah.
Bouncing back and moving forward. That's where the resilience comes.
Excellent. Did you ever feel like being Rambo and breaking free and Rambo feeling, did it come to you at any point?
I believe I never thought that, but maybe not a Rambo, but when we were released, when we came through the prisoner swap, the day we were released, that we landed here in San Antonio in the Army Brooks base, I was landing and going from the tarmac, and my family, I saw them waiting, and the feeling was overwhelming of joy that we made it.
Correct.
Because we created during our stay there, after we were put together, what we call a survivor plan.
Okay.
That, by the way, that's the base of my coaching today.
Okay.
Many things that we did there, I put in my coaching. And that survival plan is very simple. There are a lot of things you have to do to keep, establish some routines.
Yes.
Say, having journaling,
Yeah.
mindset work, meditation, anything with it.
Thing.
So that plan keep us moving during years. So when I came back, I was really feeling a sense of joy.
Yeah.
That we made it.
Excellent.
We made it. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you, Jose. That's really insightful, and I cannot even imagine being in that situation. So, this was amazing. In what way did you experience transform how you approach, decision making and leading others today? So, how has it changed the way you approach things? You were a CEO, as you said, you had a different way of working. Do you think you have a very different way of working
Oh
now?
yeah. Well, there are two things that are very interesting because my career, for some reason, again, the hands of God all over. I did a career in the international side
Right.
of the company, so always connecting with international joint ventures, many type of cultures,
Right.
So one of the things that always connected our relationship was the human side.
Correct.
So I already had that kind of
Right.
ability to connect with in the human side, no matter what type of culture, race, religion,
Correct.
the human side. Of course, that helped us. But when we were there, that we were tested, we were having incredible changes in that. One day we were like this up, and the other was up.
Yeah.
Because it was depending on how the relation in the negotiation were going.
Yeah.
So that made us to be adaptive.
Yes.
So we became really adaptive to the situation. And so we really developed a strong skill of adaptability.
Excellent.
And today, this is something that I tell to any leader, that one of the key things today is the capacity to be adaptive to the changes.
Absolutely.
This is key in any leader today.
Yes.
Any leader that has the ability to be adaptive
Yes.
to the situation, that is the leader that
Yes.
is going to succeed.
Absolutely.
Because today's world is changing dramatically.
Yeah.
You know what's going on here in the U.S. and international.
Absolutely.
If you're in a leadership position, many things of this can be
Yes.
impacting you. So you need to be adaptive, because that's what you're going to transmit to your employees,
Yes.
to your manager, to you, all your staff.
Yes.
And that's what going to keep the companies moving.
Correct.
Other thing that really we developed was a strong skill of determination.
Yeah.
Determination is something that also is key when no matter what you're going through, when you're determined, you keep going.
Very true.
You keep
Very
going.
true.
You keep going.
Your mindset's so important in this
Yeah.
situation.
Mhm.
So this has been amazing, great story. And again, thank you for being on the show. We'll be right back. Up next, Jose will discuss how empathy and emotional intelligence are essential for conscious leadership, even under extreme pressure. Stay tuned. We'll be right back we're back. Let's continue this powerful conversation. Welcome to a Superconscious Leader, where we explore what it takes to lead with wisdom, vision, and purpose. I'm your host, Dr. Adil Dalal. Today's guest is Ryan Herpin, the co founder and managing partner of Impact Strategies Consulting. Ryan has helped business leaders across industries master the art of operational excellence, drive profitability, and create cultures where people thrive. He's a seasoned advisor in strategic planning, leadership, and employee engagement, and he's deeply passionate about building strong leadership teams rooted in service and in vision. Today, we're digging into the real foundation of leadership, not titles, but influence, growth, and connection. Ryan, welcome to a Superconscious Leader.
It's
Let's
such a pleasure
begin
being
with the
here.
fundamental question. What is true leadership really about?
True
So,
leadership is such a big topic. I'm so glad to talk about this with you today.
so we'll be really diving deeper into that understanding of what leadership is and going beyond. So, today, Ryan, as you know, the problems facing many in the audience is that leadership is often mistaken for authority, power, control, but without vision, trust, and humility, leaders fail to inspire lasting results. So, here is a key question. What is your personal definition of leadership, Ryan?
Well, I could sum it up in one word and then I'll elaborate on that. I would
Sure.
say servitude. The way I define a true leader is a servant of the many. So, really, a way to elaborate on that is leadership is the ability to influence others towards a shared vision through consistency, action, integrity, and service. It's not about titles or control. It's about taking responsibility for outcomes and lifting up others.
Excellent. So, Ryan, to follow up on that, uh, servant leadership has been used and misused a lot. How do you really, because the leader needs to lead from the front and service seems to be from behind. How do you make that connection of service versus, leading from the front?
You see, I think they're all one and the same. I think serving your team is leading by example. I think
Right.
paving the way for them to walk an easier route, to not stumble or fall, but to guide them in the steps that you've already taken. I think that is servitude. I think it's the highest form of servitude, putting yourself in front of
Okay.
the fire, walking the hard roads, climbing the hardest mountains to then help those around you do the same thing, but with less of a struggle, right? I think those are one and the same thing.
I, I love your answer, Ryan. Thank you so much for elaborating on that. And I truly, truly agree with you. So, what are the most important qualities that separate a good leader from a great one?
I would have to say that's such a good question. And a lot of people might not enjoy this one, but self awareness,
Hmm.
consistency, and most of all, humility. A good leader knows where they're going. A great leader knows how to take others with them. And really, it's about being able to adapt, overcome, and keep your ego in check while doing it. Those are the most important qualities that I can truly think of.
Excellent. And you see that a leader versus a manager, a leader, usually will have to break some rules. What are your thoughts on breaking rules?
It's This is such a great question. It's funny because I've been in so many situations where I had to go outside of the bounds of what, HR might agree with and other things, but there is no cookie cutter way of being a leader.
Yes.
There really isn't. It's a matter of putting this is about the best way my mentor explained it to me because he said sometimes you're gonna have to do things others might not agree with when it comes to leading teams successfully. And it's doing what's necessary for your team
Yeah.
to thrive. Sometimes that's having a hard conversation and putting it in a way that people might not like. Sometimes it's offensive. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes it's against the grain, but rules are there to give us structure. I don't think rules are always completely definitive when it comes to the betterment of those around.
Very true. Very well said. Very well said. And growth usually happens when you're a little uncomfortable. So correct. Great. Thanks, Ryan. How do you lead people who have a different personalities or motivations than a leader has, or how would you differentiate that?
This one is one of the biggest questions a lot of my clients really struggle with, and because you can't manage or lead one way. One way doesn't work for everyone, but you've got to listen first.
Mhm.
That's the truth. And people want to be seen. They want to be valued. You can't lead everyone the same way. You lead people in a way that they respond to best. Great example. Great example. My mentor,
Mhm.
when he was my boss leading me before I took over his massive company at the time, I respond really, really well to being yelled at. I couldn't tell you why. Maybe it's I grew up in wrestling and sports, and my father was real serious about raising men, not boys. I respond well to being yelled at. If you can make me mad at me, I'll move mountains.
Huh.
Other times, I've seen him work with other people where you've got to kind of beat around the bush and be kind of soft in your delivery because that's what works for them. It's not one size fits all. It's objective based. If our objective
Yeah.
is your improvement, your betterment, your success, as a leader, it's my responsibility to understand how you work so that I can say the things in the right way to get you where you need to go.
Excellent. And this is so important in the current generation shift. Would you agree?
Oh, I could
Knowing
not
the
agree with you
person,
more.
knowing an individual. Without that, leadership is a losing game. Would you agree?
Most definitely. With the newer generations, communication has changed.
Yeah,
You know, the approach has changed. The way that the societal structure really is not what it was in the 70s, 80s, 90s, early
exactly.
2000s. It's just not the same. So if you
Yeah,
don't adapt, you'll become obsolete. It's just the reality.
yes, very true. So, individual understanding an individual is so important for a leader, no matter what size of a team you lead. If you don't understand them, as you said, you'll get motivated by shouting. Some of them may be going into a corner sobbing if you do the same thing, correct? So we have to be very mindful of each individual. So thank you. Uh, Ryan, what early leadership lessons shaped who you are today? That's a very, this is such a wonderful question, I think,
This is a
especially
humbling one.
allows you.
It's a very humbling one.
Yeah.
This is something that's very, very true. I don't have a collegiate background. Tell you the truth, I put myself through trade school. I come from the bottom end of the lower class. So the truth is, I started as a welder, and I
Hmm.
learned early on, people don't follow because of a title. They follow someone who shows up, outworks the odds, and keeps their mind straight in a world that gets really, really hard. And that's what really stuck with me. It's not about what your title is or where you come from. It's about being willing to lead by example, do what's hard, and show others they can do it too.
Love it. Love it. I think, I've seen great leaders even on the shop floor, right? They when a leader is taken up from the shop floor, I feel they do really great for the organization because they've seen it all, they've actually done it, and really changes the culture of an organization. So I respect that, Ryan. That hands on is so important right now. So thank you. Uh, in your opinion, can anyone become a great leader, or is it something you are born with? I get asked this question every time, but
Mhm.
so I want to know from you is what are your thoughts on it?
Anyone can become a great leader. Sometimes people are born with the mentality of a leader. But to tell you the truth, most people aren't. It's something
Mhm.
you have to become, and you become it by radical self-discipline and a willingness to grow. And honestly, the most important part is having a servant's heart. A true leader over a boss is someone who cares deeply about those around them. It's an enlightened self-interest. It's if you win, I win. If you succeed, I succeed. And truth is, leadership is earned. It's not given. You can be given a title to become the boss, but to be the leader, it is earned.
Yes, very true, and very well said. And I truly believe that every human being needs to be a leader. They are a leader of their career, their family. Whatever they do, if they do not lead, they will become a follower in someone else's story. So you need to be the star of your own show. Otherwise, you will be a character in someone else's story. So
Very true.
uh, it's a fantastic segment, Ryan. You're awesome, and thank you for being here, folks. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with segment 2, which will be much more engaging, going deeper into the super conscious leader. Thank you. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. And we're back. Let's continue this powerful conversation. Welcome to a Super Conscious Leader, where we explore the deeper dimensions of conscious leadership in today's complex world. I'm your host, Dr. Adil Dalal. On this show, a Super Conscious Leader, we move beyond the conventional thinking to uncover the emotional, the mental, and even the spiritual truths that shape authentic leaders. Today's guest is Erica Butler, CEO of Hirr LLC. She brings Fortune 100 HR experience to small and mid-sized organizations through her consulting work, and she's a certified DISC professional and internationally culture intelligence trainer. Erica's mission is to help culturally diverse teams and global leaders lead from space of alignment, empathy, and higher awareness. Let's begin with something we rarely talk about, but most leaders experience. Why do so many leaders feel isolated at the top, and what can be done about it? So
Yes,
let's get started. Let's get started, Erica. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Well, I'm very happy to be here. Let's dive in.
Thank you. The problem facing many in the audience is that even successful leaders feel isolated and unsupported in their roles. And it often feels like no one truly understands the weight they carry on their shoulders every day. So let's dive into the first question. Why do so many leaders feel isolated even in large organizations?
Absolutely. So from my experience, what I've witnessed again and again are many organizations do not have programs or communities for leaders to develop together, to have an output of where to put when they're holding this heavy. They have heavy shoulders a lot. They catch all the biggest problems, and that's not embedded. So they really have to, on their own, go out and find it many times. And I also think I've seen many just superstar individuals get promoted, and they either whether they outgrow the relationships because people can't connect with them the same, or people see, well, now they're the leader, they have the power to fire me, or there's power there, and the leader maybe doesn't know how to navigate that in a healthy way. And then they can really feel isolated and alone, and maybe even that they lost the friendship with their work colleagues they had before.
Wow, that is so important. What you're saying is, I think of very few people who are at the top understand, how to overcome that. So thank you for sharing that. So let's dive into the second question. How can leaders reconnect with their purpose and build a stronger support system around them?
Sure. So it's awareness that this is a gap, and really having a plan around it, and prioritizing for yourself inside the organization, also outside the organization, seeking peer groups and development and inspiration that will help you going through the good, through the hard. One example of one I'm part of is Entrepreneurs Organization, 16,000 leaders across the world, and they're just very motivated high performers. So you have accountability there, you have training and development, you have a place to share the hardest of hards, and they get it. And you just
Mhm.
feel validated, supported, and you have ideas to bring back to your organization. So that's just one tangible example that you need. If you're out there and you don't have that, I would seek it out immediately, because it's a game changer of what's possible for
Very
your
true. Very
career.
true.
Right?
And,
Yeah.
using tools like LinkedIn and other professional societies could be a great, way to kind of build those, strong connections too. So thanks, Erica. Very profound.
And
Um,
could I more point I just thought of, it's the coach and mentor. I think leaders who want to keep growing, and I just think having a coach or mentor is really a game changer.
Very true. Very true. I think coaching and mentoring is, I think, the crux of true leadership, right? That is, it'll never go away. Those are the basics of leadership, which needs to be kind of put out into the front, especially now when AI is coming in. You cannot let AI be the coach and mentor to you. You want to be a human to human. So thank you. Uh, what are some of the ways to create a culture where vulnerability and connection are seen more as strengths than weaknesses?
Sure. What I've seen work best is when leaders are able to lead the way with that and role model it. For instance, if they do make a mistake, which we all do, they tell their team, "I'm sorry," and they take that accountability and they show that vulnerability. Also, if they feel a challenge about something, they say, "I don't maybe have the answer right now, but I will find it." Show that they don't have it all together all the time. They're not perfect. And that allows their team also to feel okay making a mistake, and then to say, "Sorry, I have the accountability." And it's just role modeling it, I think, is a powerful way. Also, recognizing and celebrating when people are showing that vulnerability and connection. And then programs, if they don't have anything in place for people to connect, whether a community service day, a baseball game, lunch and learns, just ways that are already embedded in the company and the organization to connect, is going to really give space for that and show it's a priority to the organization.
Excellent, Erica. Do you have an example when you were vulnerable and how did it help you?
I have a very simple but powerful example, and I share it oftentimes in leadership trainings that I do. My first leadership assignment, I had 75 team members and 6 department managers. I was a bit of a deer in headlights, having never led a team before other than volunteer. And I was so task oriented, so results focused. And I also didn't understand the power I had and how that could make people feel. I didn't understand the gift of that, the influence of that. So I would walk by employees and not even say hi to them because I was so focused on the tasks and the results. So my boss pulled me into his office and said, "Hey, it's not really okay, to do that." And I didn't even know I was doing it, actually. So that moment, I completely changed everything. I kept my head up, and I know I had a zillion tasks to do, but I always put them behind the person in front of me. And I looked at them in the eye. "How was Bobby's baseball game this weekend?" And I walked the floor. Even when I was visiting different sites, I start my visit walking the floor. I end my visit walking the floor. And you really make those connection points. It's a game changer. You build
Excellent.
trust.
Excellent. I think you have a very smart boss because this is management by walking around is a very important tool, and I did that every time. Whenever I would lead a team, I would be walking around and really, not disturbing them, but saying hi and at least, doing the things which they feel that you care. That is so important, right, Erica?
Fun fact, Dr. Dalal, this also adds to capturing good talent. He was so amazing. He's now the GM of our company. So he just helps lead like that. So when you find good leaders like that, keep in touch because you never know when they can come back
Exactly.
and do something special.
True. True that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, let's dive a little deeper. How do emotional intelligence and superconscious awareness help reduce that feeling of loneliness when you're at the top?
Absolutely. So I think not taking everything for face value, taking someone's words as their words because people are so complex, knowing how to read body language, knowing how when they say I'm okay, but you can tell they're not, you don't leave it at that. You dig into the conflict. Also being proactive with things like DISC, like insights, these tools that allow you to understand what makes people tick. How is their personality like? What do they like? What don't they? And the more we can understand that, the more we can meet them where they're at and lead them more effectively and know what drives them and what hurts them. So I think those tools are extremely powerful for those that are not using them.
Excellent. And uh, Erica, in your experience as you go higher, do you think the EQ of the leaders is increasing or is it, kind of staying stable at that point? What is your
I
experience?
In my experience, I see it increasing. I think people are becoming more aware of this. I remember when I started in my career, almost emotional intelligence was like a taboo. Like it wasn't real, it was soft, but more and more there's so many books out there today. There's so much more science behind why this is actually so important. One of the most important things you can do is work on your ability to read people, be self-aware. It just you lead so much better. It works.
You're absolutely right. And research clearly shows that EQ is a much better predictor of success than IQ. So you're absolutely spot on.
And
Thanks.
likability
Yes, exactly.
matters.
Thank you.
Yes.
Can you kindly share a moment from your own leadership journey where you overcame isolation through mindset or through community awareness and community support?
Absolutely. I was backfilling this was a while back because it's the first time I had to deal with this. I was backfilling, another HR leader, and I was, taking over as the head of HR in a newly acquired business at a large organization. And I there was, some pain on that team, for a lot of different reasons, and people, didn't really feel close to HR. HR can get a bad rap sometimes. I know I'm not the first person to say that. And I had to work really, really hard to show them that I'm for them. And what I did was, first off, I really got to know each leader, and I if it was marketing, what could I do to support marketing? And I just got behind their initiatives and show them I'm for them. Then they got behind my training and development initiatives. And then I really feel like that trickled down the team. I also, like I said before, I got to know each team member the best I could. I spent time with them and showed up for them. So I think those are ways that I overcame feeling isolated and alone and not liked in the beginning.
Excellent. Excellent, Erica. Thank you.
Thank you.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back we're back. Let's continue this powerful conversation. Welcome back to a Superconscious Leader. I'm here with Mr. Jose Angel Pereira. In his final segment, we'll explore how leaders can connect purpose and humanity with daily operations to inspire lasting impact. Many leaders feel disconnected from the meaning in their work, focusing on tasks rather than inspiring people and creating an impact. So, Mr. Jose, many leaders today feel disconnected from meaning in their work. How can they realign leadership with purpose and humanity?
Wow, this is a great question because it has to do with even your spiritual connection. People lack to, and I'm not talking about religion. I'm
Yes.
talking about a spiritual connection.
Yes.
That really you need to connect to it with your spirituality, and go back to that, because there is where you will discover your purpose, your real purpose. When you make that connection and you find what is your real calling, sometimes you're in the wrong place.
Yes.
You can discover that you're doing the wrong thing.
Very true.
Many people have shifted their career because
Yes.
they discovered that they wanted to be a singer or I don't know, whatever. Do what you feel you have to do, but do it intentionally and do it and do it following your
Yes.
your calling. There's where you are gonna connect with the people,
Very true.
because the people will know that what you're doing is because you're doing because it's your calling,
Exactly.
and that will make you a great leader,
Purpose-driven leader. Right?
purpose-driven leader.
And I am pretty sure you know about Viktor Frankl, who wrote, Man's Search for Meaning. He spent 3 years in 4 concentration camps and came out of it, and he created something called logotherapy, which is finding the meaning in what you do. And that is so important today in
Let me
leadership.
tell you what is my connection with Viktor Frankl.
Mhm.
I was like maybe in the 3rd or the 4th year of our captivity, and I said we were with political prisoners,
Mhm.
and we were with military political prisoners too.
Yeah.
Militaries. So I had with me my neighbor in cell was a high-ranked general,
Okay.
high-ranked 3-star general, and that guy had a lot of incredible background. Well, this guy, even though he was a political prisoner, they respected him because he
Right.
was really a high-ranked guy, and they allowed him to have a lot of books.
Sure.
So his family brought him a lot of books. One day, this guy came to me and said, "Hey, Jose, you had to read this book." It was a tiny book,
Yeah.
not so big book, and I saw Viktor Frankl,
Oh,
Man in a
wonderful.
Search for Meaning. I
Yeah,
had the
but favorite.
opportunity to read it in prison.
Wow.
And when that guy was talking his experience, the guy was talking to me.
Yes, exactly.
He was talking to me.
Very true.
Talking about finding purpose in the pain,
Yeah.
how you can find a meaning, how he discovered why the people survive and why some
Yes,
don't
some people
survive.
could not survive.
Well, that's it. So I became big fan of Viktor Frankl.
Yes.
By the way, 1 month after I came back, I did an interview, talked about Viktor Frankl, and Anderson Cooper of CNN. He heard me and
Okay.
he interviewed me.
Oh,
You have
wonderful.
to see my interview with him.
Excellent. I think I've seen it.
Because he's a big fan of Viktor
Yeah.
Frankl.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of Viktor Frankl.
I'm
too.
today.
He's amazing. I've written about him in my book. So
Oh, I have
Yes.
talked also. I did
Yes.
a podcast
Okay,
talking about
wonderful.
him.
He really has found. I mean, I think your stories are similar from what. I mean, obviously, it's not the concentration camp, but being in captivity is a totally different experience, and not
Let me
many
tell you,
people
but we
can
were
say that.
literally in a concentration camp because these guys applied techniques
Techniques from
that
there.
they can't come from
Yeah.
concentration camp.
Wow.
Things that we were suffering. I read it in his book.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So how can leaders give me an example of how you have changed your perspective for leading with a higher purpose more consciousness, a higher consciousness.
Well, as I said, that when you find your purpose, that whatever you're doing is because it's your calling. Is you have to do it so intentionally that you want to leave your legacy. When you're working from your heart, trying to leave your legacy, you will do it because you will pursue no matter what circumstance you're going through. Because life will always bring challenges.
Yes.
Always. And if you're in a business, the business can be going well and sometimes can be going bad. But when you have your purpose very clear,
Correct.
and you no matter what circumstance you're pursuing that dream you have, my friend, you're going to be unstoppable.
Very true.
You're going to be
Very
unstoppable.
true. Excellent.
Yeah.
Very true. Thank you very much for sharing that. How can leaders create lasting impact that goes beyond the financial or the KPIs and the metrics we put in place?
As I said, trying to leave a legacy. The persons like you mentioned, Nelson Mandela or Steve Jobs or many persons in the history that you find that they live their life trying to leave a legacy. And when you
Totally
do it,
believe that.
when you do that,
Yes.
trying to leave a legacy. Today, I really want to leave a legacy.
Yeah.
Everything that I'm doing today is intentionally
Yes.
because I want to leave a legacy. I'm thinking, for example, I'm going to begin a nonprofit very
Yes.
soon. I envision my grandsons in that nonprofit.
Yes, in that
In that profit.
amazing.
So this is something that when you begin to visualize things that way, and you talk about neuroscience, neuroscience has confirmed the things that already you can read in the Bible.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely.
what has is confirmed that the observer can change the reality.
Yes.
And so if you
Yes.
intentionally do
Absolutely.
the things with that perseverance, you're going to change your reality.
Yeah, I've written a book on this. So
okay.
visualization, power
The
of visualization,
yeah,
the V
of course,
factor.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I am totally, in sync with what you were saying.
Okay.
Okay, so last question. What advice would you give a leader who is just starting off in the career to lead with a higher purpose and a higher consciousness? What are the steps they can take to start doing that?
Well, the first thing is that you have to, as I said, understand if what you're doing really is what you really want to do
Yeah.
first. That's the first thing, that you're in the right track. When you are in the right track, you're going to have a dream.
Yes.
Pursue that dream
Mm-hmm.
and never stop.
Very true.
Never stop, because that's what is the resilience.
Absolutely.
You're going to be falling and failing, my friend. Stand up and keep moving.
Going.
Keep going.
Very true.
If you cannot run, walk. If you cannot
Yes.
walk, crawl. But
Yes.
keep going.
Yes.
Keep going.
It's not how many times you fall, it's how many times you get up is
Yes.
the key thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
excellent advice and very profound. Thank you, Mr. Jose. So, Jose, this has been just incredibly valuable for the people and for my audience. Where can people follow you and your work and continue this conversation?
Well, as I said, I have my webpage called joseconnect.com, www.joseconnect.com. I'm very active in LinkedIn. I'm very active in Facebook. I have my YouTube channel where I do my podcast that is called Building Resilience, and I'm going to be a host
Yes.
now in Now TV in Espanol. Okay, so you're going to be hearing about me. And I always talk about leadership and resilience because that became part of my purpose in my life.
Awesome. Excellent. Jose, thank you for sharing your insights and your remarkable personal journey which you have, and very practical insights for my audience. So your story reminds us that resilience, empathy, and purpose are not just leadership traits. They are lifelines during adversity. To our viewers, remember that leading consciously is about balancing performance with humanity, making decisions with integrity, and inspiring those around you. Reflect on what you have learned today. take intentional action, and lead with purpose in every area of our life. This has been a Superconscious Leader. I'm Dr. Adil Dalal. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time and continue the journey forward with conscious, impactful leadership. Remember, in the age of AI, you do not need to be superhuman. You just need to be superconscious.